English translation 80th contact. Wednesday, 24th August 1977, 12:00 hours.
You are very puzzled that you have not heard from me in the last few days. This, however, had its justified reasons, my friend, which I want to explain to you immediately. When I was here last Wednesday, the 17th of August, I first announced that some of you would be able to see my ship hovering high in the night sky. Then I came back while you were still waiting at the vehicle shelter according to my instructions. According to your wish, I then wanted to leave a sign for all of you on the tree where you tested the ray gun, but I failed thoroughly. This is what happened. I was just hovering above the top of the tree when I registered such strong pain impulses from you that I was frightened and depressed the ship's steering mechanism in a reflex movement, with the result that I destroyed and flattened the entire top of the tree with the lower part of the ship. There.
That is what we heard, because there was a fairly loud noise.
Certainly. After that, I moved away very quickly and analyzed the process, finding that you were seriously ill and uncontrollably radiating overpowering headaches when you wanted to get in touch with me. Your pain was so strong that you sent it out with full strength and were no longer able to control it, which is why, not in expectation of such things, I was fully struck by your pain impulses. Such occurrences are unfamiliar with you. I immediately realized that there had to be some things going on that were not right. So from somewhere you had to be subject to an influence over which you were not aware and which you could not control. But in order not to worry you, I went away wordlessly and consulted with Quetzal. For days I researched together with him after the causes for the occurrence, and we also caught different thoughts from you, which seemed very strange to us. But we were also unaccustomed to catching your uncontrolled thoughts, because they testified to an uncontrolledness that had never before appeared in you. Thus, all this had to have its reason, and is why we followed your thought processes and came across your observation on the 12th of August, when you stood pondering at the tree in question and observed a large insect that should not have been there, because these kinds of insects no longer exist in your area and are also completely abnormal at the size of 14 centimeters. Something about it therefore did not appear right. Quetzal researched the occurrence in the past and found the oversized insect, a flying praying mantis, recorded in pictures by an area analyzer. From the pictures, it was only a routine task for him to find out that it was an artificial insect that had a complicated device in its body for harboring and exposing mutated bacilli. When this artificial insect flew twice around you and around the tree, remotely controlled, it sprayed through an outlet a small part of the mutant bacilli that immediately attacked you and infected you with a disease unknown to you that could have very serious consequences if Quetzal had not intervened. He and a few others have been working on a drug that he has been spraying throughout the Earth's atmosphere since yesterday, because the bacilli have spread very widely and are threatening to spread all over the planet. But all those people who had been in the center in the last few days were particularly at risk, because most of them were directly infested by the bacilli. The artificial insect, as we discovered less than 20 minutes ago, has put a breeding ground in the tree in which the mutated bacilli breed and multiply. Now I am here to destroy this malignant breeding ground. Further, I am here to clarify some other things that are still unclear to us. For example, the incident of the 16th of August, when you saw a figure with unusually large visual organs. It is.
Yes, that thing had candlesticks, eyes as big as beer plates. They also fluoresced. The figure was about as big as Herbert, which Renato also noticed.
Sure it is. Just a minute, so. A plane approaches them.
He almost rammed us. That is Coney with his flying rust bucket.
He cannot see us, so we cannot blame him. Besides, he could not ram us, as you say, because he would be thrown back by the protective belt of the ship. It was a bit dangerous for him.
Now he banks there without knowing that his crate was almost smashed.
That could not have been possible, because the protective sensors would have taken the ship off its flight course on their own.
Then he was lucky again.
Nothing could have happened to him. But now I want to destroy the evil bacillus.
How are you going to do that?
My ship has many forms of weapons, as you know, such as a ray projector of a similar shape to the one you used to make the hole in the tree. I will destroy the nest by burning the surface. See, here on this screen you can see it.
Ah, yes, you. That really does wobble. Can I blow this thing out?
You have never operated such an apparatus before.
Nevertheless, I would like to try it.
As you like, but then I have to go much closer to the tree. Wait, so now we are 38 meters away from it. Here, through this sight, you can regulate the dimensions of the rays, by which I mean the radiating surface of the beam. You can move this disc here through this sliding device and thus regulate the further radiation. This allows you to precisely define and determine the entire combustion source. When you then touch this small elevation, the energy escapes from a hairfine opening on the underside of the ship in order to destroy the target through a form of radiation. Here you can still regulate the strength of the combustion so that you do not hurt the tree any deeper. Now practice it for a few minutes by first going through the manipulations a few times in your mind.
Well, girl, what are you doing there?
I only check some functions of the ship now. My friend. Be careful. You have already triggered the beam.
Of course, the bad thing has already disappeared.
You did not follow my instructions and just aimed at the target, made the adjustments, and released the energy.
Of course.
I told you that you only...
Is it somehow not right? Take a look before you get upset.
Sure, yes, that was very good, only the beam was a bit too big. But it was very good. I cannot understand how you could do that so well, because you have never worked with such a device before.
Shooting around is not an art, not even the striking.
I give up because you do not let yourself be taught about it. I am sure you only laugh when I explain to you that we first have to spend several hours with this device in order to be able to operate it properly.
6th of July 1977, 16. 30 hairs. Photograph of the apple tree into which Billy shot a hole with the ray gun borrowed from Manara, and whose top was flattened by Simya Se with her beam ship on the 17th of August, 1977. Photo, Billy. August 25th, 1977. 11A Toshur's photograph of the small apple tree after Simya Se had flattened the top with her ship on the 17th of August 1977. Photo Billy. August 24th, 1977. 1203 Chars. Bullet hole of the Bacillus gun. Destroyed by Billy with Simya Se as beam ship laser gun on the apple tree, which was henceforth only called the Simya Se tree. Photo Billy. August 24th, 1977. 12:02 hours. Close-up of the bullet hole site of the bacillus nest on the Simya Se tree, destroyed by Billy with Simya Se as beam ship laser gun. Photo Billy.
But you just come, sit down, manipulate the equipment and devices, and already you operate them as if you had never done anything else.
Oh, come on. Operating devices and machines, etc. is not witchcraft. What is created by human beings can also be handled very easily with a little thought, whether it is this device here, or whether it is a flying apparatus, or anything else.
You say that, certainly with justification, but only for yourself.
Poppycock. Every reasonable person can see something. Listen to the necessary explanations, or think something, in order to draw the logical conclusions from it, and thus operate the devices or apparatuses, etc. correctly. It really does not need any more.
A discussion about it is probably not correct, because in this respect you only assume that you are right. Therefore, listen to what I still have to explain to you.
When It Cracks in the Apple Tree by Herbert Runkle, Germany.
On Wednesday, the 17th of August, we, namely Engelbert, Hans and Coney, Jacobus and I, were standing by the garage in the evening, around 21 H. and together with Billy, who was obviously feeling very bad and looked quite miserable, we watched Sim Yar-Sei's ship passing high above the evening sky. After the ship had already disappeared, we were still standing together in conversation when suddenly there was a loud crash from the front of the bungert. If we could believe our ears, wood had splintered somewhere. Now, of course, nothing could stop us, and our search was soon successful. The little old apple tree that had already served Billy as a target for a ray gun shot had inexplicably but quite noisily lost its top. Billy could only assume that Sim Yar-Se had done this damage for some inexplicable reason, as he had been expecting her to make contact. It was not until a week after the incident that Sim Yar-Se provided clarification at the 80th contact conversation on the 24th of August, 1977. She told Billy that she had indeed flattened the top of the apple tree with her ship in a moment of shock when she had caught an extremely violent impulse of pain from him completely unexpectedly. For this reason, she also did not appear at the contact as planned, but preferred to contact Quetzal immediately to discuss the incident with him. During this contact conversation, other mysteries were also solved, namely why some of us who had stayed with us between the 12th and the 20th of August 1977 had meanwhile fallen ill with very severe, flu-like symptoms and were feeling very miserable. This was related to a praying mantis that Billy observed on the 12th of August near the old apple tree, which we have since renamed the Sim Yar-Se tree. According to Sim Yar-Se's explanation, it was an artificial insect that served the sole purpose of spreading mutated bacilli with a disease unknown on Earth, which Billy was also afflicted with when Sim Yar-Se was struck by its pain pulse. In the meantime, the Pleiadians not only had the spread of these bacilli under control, for which they had developed an antidote, but immediately before the contact conversation, they had also found the bacillus source that the artificial mantis had created, and which was located at the top of the Sim Yar-Se tree. Even during the contact conversation, Billy was allowed to destroy the hearth with Sim Yar-Se's onboard instruments, as evidenced by a large-scale burn, which we of course immediately inspected after the contact conversation in the early afternoon. Behind the whole incident were once again the Giza intelligences who recently joined forces with fugitives from the Pegasus area. One of the Pegasus fugitives, who have extraordinarily large eyes, completely unknown to us on Earth, had been seen by Renato Ventura and Billy on the center grounds on the evening of the 16th of August. The technology for making the praying mantis came from these aliens, who have since been rounded up by Ptah and transported back to their homeland.
Quetzal and I will finally clarify things about the events that have occurred in the next few days. We do not have any exact dates yet, so we do not know what the purpose of the whole thing is and where it all comes from. What is certain so far is that the Giza intelligences have joined forces with a group of fleeing and malignant intelligences from space who are involved in the concerns of the Giza intelligences and are helpful to them. Their outer forms correspond to your observation that they have oversized eyes and some other special things about them. This also means that you were not suffering hallucinations when you saw that figure on the night of the 16th of August. We will be able to clarify these things with certainty in the next 10 to 15 days, after which I will contact you again and tell you about the state of affairs. Until then, you have to wait, and now I have to go again. Give my dear greetings to all of you and comfort the sick that everything will soon take its proper course again.
I will do that. Many need your consolation, for nearly 20 of us have been attacked by this lousy machination.
In any case, the danger is averted and the improvement is unstoppable. Farewell now, and pay my loving greetings to all.
Thank you, girl, and also goodbye.